Welcome back to the ultimate budget premium 11.5-inch rifle build series. This is where we left off last week. So we'd put a good amount of the lower together. Unfortunately, I have a pistol brace on it now. I do have a B5 stock for it once it is SBR'd. But today we are going to finish the lower, and I've got some other parts as well. Again, premium parts, but I got them for a deal. Now, I did ask a couple questions at the end of the last video. I asked you guys' opinion on what vertical foregrip I should get and also which upper receiver I should get. Well, the upper receiver is on order and it's the one that the most people said I should get. So I do listen to you guys. The vertical foregrip, I went with the B5 Systems in multicam to match the stock, the grip, and the eventual multicam Vickers Blue Force Gear sling. So we will have a pretty good theme to this rifle. Now, other than that, everything is pretty much black and flat dark earth, or Geisley's DDC desert dirt color. Geisley buffer tube in DDC, Geisley handguard. We've got a tan EOTech EXPS3. We've got a Radian Raptor in flat dark earth. Pretty much everything, flat dark earth and black, and then a lot of multicam. And we've been doing it for a pretty good price so far as what this build costs. I've gotten everything on either Blem deals or on sale. This is a Blem Griffin Armament Mark II Ambi lower receiver. It's a fantastic deal. This is a Blem Geisley Mark 16 handguard. Blem stuff is the way to go. So I'm going to try to keep today's video relatively short because it's not the most exciting parts in the world, but I do have the rest of the lower parts. So forward controls design, this is your mag release button, Geisley takedown pins, and I could have got fancy checkered ones, but going with the theme of the build, I went with their standard pins because you know what? They work just fine. We've got a Geisley mag catch, so it'll be a Geisley mag catch with an FCD button, actually the exact same setup I got on the Mark 18 there. And I actually got an Expo Arms part, that's Primary Arms, like their brand, and it's usually OEM'd by really good manufacturers, but they sell it really cheap with the Expo Arms, Primary Arms name. That is my buffer retainer pin, because if you guys remember last week, I was able to put the buffer tube on, but I didn't tighten down the castle nut or put the buffer and spring in because I didn't have a buffer retainer pin yet. Well, my dumbass ordered these things and I didn't get a buffer retainer pin spring. So that is ordered as well. In fact, all of the rest of the parts to put the rest of this rifle together are ordered, should come in over the next couple days. And so next week's episode, we will be putting the rest of the rifle together and it will be ready to shoot. So I'm pretty excited about that. We've got BCM gas block. We've got a Unity fast riser to put that EOTech on. We've got a Roscoe 11.5-inch barrel. This has their patrol length gas system. So it's a little bit longer than a carbine length gas system. Not quite as long as a mid-length. For an 11.5, I think that's good. Mid-length, you'd have like no dwell time. But it should be a little bit softer shooting than a carbine length, which I think is pretty sweet. We've got a Cobb Valley Precision 3-prong Silencer Co. ASR muzzle device. These are an incredible deal. I highly recommend them. I've got them on multiple rifles and they work just as good as the Silencer Co. one, but for a much better price. And I'm actually getting a new suppressor for this build, and that again is going to be a premium suppressor at a budget price. Now, of course, I got to wait for that to show up at the FFL and then do the NFA thing. For you guys, I'm going to pay for the tax stamp, even though we're a month and a half away from free tax stamps, because I want to get it here and put it on this rifle and test it out. So that is coming very soon as well. I'm really excited about that. In fact, I only found out about the suppressor today, because I was just going to run my Polonium K on it, and I still will. But I've got another 5.56 suppressor coming. So we're going to go up close and put the rest of this lower together. But first, how much does privacy matter to you? To me, it matters quite a bit. I used to be really annoyed all the time with scam calls, spam calls. In fact, I had my bank account hacked like 3 times in the year before I signed up for Aura, which is this video's sponsor. Since I signed up for Aura, I've gotten no spam calls, no spam emails, no scam calls, none of that. It all goes away. And you can try it out absolutely free for 2 weeks and see if it'll do the same thing for you. It will. That's the thing about Aura. Within those free 2 weeks, that is enough time for them to get your information scrubbed from the internet. And what do I mean by scrubbed from the internet? Well, every time that if you're on the internet at all, your data has been leaked. Every time you go on a website and, you put in your email, whatever it may be, your data is leaked. And data brokers are selling your information and making billions of dollars a year. They're selling it to scammers and spammers. And that's why you get all these things. It's one of the things that just sucks about modern life and technology. But Aura fixes that for you. If you decide to keep it after that 2 weeks, it's only $12 a month, and they will take care of all of your online security. They give you a VPN, antivirus software, a password manager, US-based support available around the clock, alerts if your personal info is found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, 24/7 fraud monitoring. They do it all. But the biggest one to me is that data broker removal. And again, if you decide to keep it, only $12 a month. But you've got no reason not to try it out for free. Use my link down below, aura.com/sawtooth-tactical, to try it out for 2 weeks. Get your information scrubbed from the internet. I use it. You should as well. This is where we are at so far. I know the lower looks pretty much put together, but I've got no mag release in here. I've got no takedown pins. And of course the buffer and spring aren't in here because I've got no buffer retainer pin. So let's install those parts now. I think we will start, you know what? We're going to start with the hardest part because I have got a little trick to do these takedown pins. You see this? This is called a clevis pin. You can get it at your hardware store for like 69 cents. You want to get one that is about the same diameter as your takedown pins. And what you do is you stick this in the hole, you put your spring and detent through it, turn it, and it holds it in, and then you follow it through with your takedown pins, and it makes them so quick and easy. It is really, honestly, the best trick that I could share for building out a lower. So let's do that right now. Of course, as I've told you before, YouTube won't allow me to show any building of firearms. So again, with the magic of video editing, overconfidence has always been an issue of mine. I got the front pivot pin in here. And of course, I did launch one of these across the room on my first try, but luckily I found it pretty quickly, which never happens. So that was super lucky. I can't put the back takedown pin in yet because even though I have my buffer retainer pin here, my buffer retainer pin spring hasn't showed up yet. And if you guys know, the hole that this spring and this detent go in right here to hold your captured takedown pin in, well, that hole comes all the way out the back of the lower and is covered by this back plate right here. Well, I'm going to have to unscrew this buffer tube a little bit to put the buffer retainer spring and pin in, and that would cause me a problem with all this stuff coming back out. So that's going to have to be, unfortunately, on the next episode. But let's get the mag release done here. I've got forward controls design and Geisley parts. So once again, with the magic of video editing. And we've got a mag release. And it's an ambi mag release. So as you can see here, this part comes already installed. It's a proprietary part on the Griffin Mark II lower. But I've got the Geisley mag catch there. Forward controls dimpled mag release button. And let's just make sure it works here. So there's a Magpul PMag. Stick it in. Yep. And ambi side as well. Yep, we are good. Let's try a GI magazine here. Yep. And on this side, we are good. So, mag release is installed. One of the takedown pins is installed, the front pivot pin, not the rear takedown pin. I know we didn't put a whole lot together in this video, but we're going to finish off the lower in the next video with the rear takedown pin, the buffer retainer pin, and all the rest of the upper parts have come in, so we're also going to put the upper together. So our lower is about 90% done. Working mag release, ambi, works on both sides. Working safety, working trigger, and yeah, grip, buffer tube, brace. I know. We'll put the stock on as soon as we can legally. Now, as soon as my buffer retainer spring comes in, put that in with the retainer pin. I'll be able to put the Geisley Super 42 H3 buffer and spring in. I'll be able to put the rear takedown pin in. And I have ordered the upper receiver and the bolt carrier group. I literally have all of the parts to finish the rifle itself now, including the optic on a riser. There is one other thing though, and that is a light. If you look behind me, none of my ARs are without a light. Light, optic, sling, those things are pretty much necessary. Now, slings are QD. I don't feel like I need one for every rifle because I can pull it off of this one to put on this one. I can only really shoot one rifle at a time, right? But they all need an optic and a light. Now, of course, what I want to go with is mod light. Mod light is my favorite. In fact, this specific light, the 18650 OKW head, and this one was a blem, and I got it for a really good deal. I'm hoping that Mod Light does a blem sale to go with the theme of this build, premium parts at a budget price. I keep looking on their site. I haven't seen any blems yet. Now, they also have the Noxon line of lights, which I have on the 9mm AR here. This is a budget Mod Light. It's made by Mod Light. It's assembled by them, QC'd by them in their Texas facility, but some of the parts are made in Taiwan. It has the exact same performance as the OKW. It works with the same mounts, tail caps, switches, everything. So that's a way to go too, but as far as I can tell, they only come in black. And this rifle, it just has to have a tan, flat dark earth light to match everything else that I'm doing with it, right? So I'm hoping that maybe around Thanksgiving, Black Friday, something like that, Mod Light will have a sale, and I'll be able to get a blem Mod Light for this. Otherwise, you know, I could go with a blem Surefire, something like that. I don't know if Surefire even does blems. But anyway, let me know what you guys would do for a light. I've also been looking at Arasaka Malkoff. You know, there's some good options out there, but I am partial to Mod Light. I love Mod Light. So, in next week's episode, you'll see the upper. You'll see which one I chose. Again, I did go with the B5 vertical foregrip to match everything else. So we'll be putting the rest of this build together. But being that this is a budget premium build, we have been talking about cost as we go along. So last week we left off with everything here, including an EOTech EXPS3. We were at $15 cents. So $1,517. Well, we added the B5 vertical grip here. Not on it yet, but that was $21.99. All the stuff that I got that's in this video, I got on Primary Arms Halloween sale. So I'm still stuck with the theme here of items on sale. The Geisley takedown pins, these were $14.99. Again, I could have gone with more expensive ones, checkered Geisley ones, or dimpled ones from Forward Controls. I went with the cheaper ones, but they're still Geisley. So Geisley quality, but not the most expensive, fancy ones you can get. The buffer retainer pin. This is the cheapest part so far. Expo Arms, this was 69 cents. Now, in past builds, I've used Forward Controls design, and they're like 14 bucks or something. 69 cents, saved some money there. If it breaks, it's 69 cents. I can replace it. Plus, Expo Arms is actually good stuff anyway. Forward Controls design mag release button here. This right here, this was $16.15. And then the Geisley mag catch right here, which includes the spring, That was $16.99. So our total right now, again, including the optic, is $1587.96. And that is most of the upper parts and the complete lower. And again, plus an optic. Now, I've got an upper and a bolt carrier group coming this week, and the rest, all the other parts that we need, including, I did splurge a little bit and got a Forward Controls Design ejection port cover because I like them. You got to do a little bit of Gucci sometimes, especially doing a build like this. So I got one of those coming as well, but I don't want to tell you guys everything until next week. So our total now, $1587.96. If I add in the other parts that I've got, it's about $350. We're less than $2,000, including the optic. If I take the optic out, we will have built this whole rifle for less than $1,500 with all good premium parts. Ambi receiver, Geisley, Radian, good stuff to build a rifle for less than $1,500. And that's the point of this series, to show that you can have something really nice without spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Now, of course, if I do go with the Mod Light, that's another like $450, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a like. I know it was a short one. I didn't add a whole lot this week, but what I did have, I wanted to add to the lower. I want to build the upper in the next episode. So again, if you like this video, please give me a like. Let me know in the comments, what upper do you think I got and what bolt carrier group do you think I got? We'll see if you're right in the next episode. What parts would you choose for a premium build on a budget? And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.